can you kind of go over a little bit what you feel like you've learned this season in your first year as a head coach of this team, and what you maybe wish you had done differently, or what you'll do differently next year? Just, I know it's only been a few days, but if you can kind of assess it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get into lots of specifics, to be honest with you, but, you know, certainly, without question, I better have learned. Now, that's in every job I've ever had, and every year of every job I've had. You better learn and get better. And I think part of the process over the next month is looking at every which way that myself and our staff can be better. And we'll look at all those ways. I'll have discussions with our staff on that. I'll have discussions with Ken Holland on that, and ways we can be better.
Jeff, just looking back at the year, do you think one of the problems was not enough players took the next step and improved from last season?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the short answer would be yes. And I take, you know, certainly responsibility in that as well. I think one thing that we want to do is we want to help our guys get better. And now that doesn't always mean production-wise you're going to improve from year to year. Sometimes it has to do with minutes, and minutes, there's only so many minutes to go around, and that can affect a lot of things, including production. But part of what we want to do here is make sure we're helping our guys get better and making sure that we get better as a team through the course of the year.
Jeff, have you talked to Pavel, and I don't know what you're thinking there? You think he's, do you have any idea what he's going to do?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Just looking ahead to this offseason, Jeff, what are your thoughts on what this team needs? What area needs the biggest improvement? I mean, I'm sure offense, defense, you could improve in all areas, but is there one specific thing that you can put your finger on of what needs to be better heading into training camp?
First of all, it pays to be close to the mic. You're on fire. From my perspective and from my standpoint, you know, I know Ken will get up here and we'll talk about through free agency and through trades is their way to improve our hockey team. And I know he's going to look at that and he'll speak to that. I can also tell you, though, that's extremely difficult. It's not easy whatsoever, just so everybody knows that. From my perspective, we need some of our young players to become elite players in the NHL. And that is extraordinarily hard to do. There's only so many elite players in the NHL. There's a couple forwards on each team, maybe a defenseman, maybe a goalie. It's way different than being a good complementary player. And so ultimately, you know, let's just look up front. Some of our young guys are going to have to become that elite go-to player that Pav and Z have been here for a long, long time. And that means you have to put the team on your shoulders every night. That means you have to produce while still playing great defense. That means that the other team's gunning for you. That means you're seeing the best opponents have every single night, and it's extremely hard to do. We've talked about that within this organization for a few years, and that's going to have to continue. And who is that going to be? I can't answer that. You know, you certainly have your group of young forwards, whether it's Tats, whether it's Nike, whether it's Larkin. You got young guys that have come up in AA and Mantha, and some guys, you know, that are in the minors. But ultimately, for us to be better, come the fall, we're going to need guys to take that step to elite players, and it's not going to be 10. It's going to be 1 or 2, and help in that transition from Pav and Z.
Jeff, I mean, obviously there's going to be some decisions made about people that are free agents and who comes back and who doesn't. How much, and maybe this will be your first time going through that after a season where you've coached a team, how much input do you expect to have in that, and how much do you want to have in that?
Well, obviously, Ken makes final decisions on that, but we've got a great working relationship where we'll talk all the time, and we did last summer as well. And I know it's a little bit different given that I just coached the team this year, but we're certainly, this is a team effort between the management and certainly myself, and we're going to do everything we can to see what opportunities are there to make our team better. Again, I caution everybody in the sense, though, that there are no easy fixes, and just so everybody knows that.
Jeff, I know no easy fixes, but is there, maybe a glaring need, especially to address the defense?
Does that mean you think that? Yeah. What I would say is, I think throughout we got to be a little bit better. I think our D-core has to play better. And so is that a fix from outside? Is that a fix from within? We'll certainly look at both of those. Is there a fix from outside? I don't know. What I do know is that as a group we can be better, and that's included in the D-core.
Just regarding an assistant, do you have names in mind, and do you want somebody with a pretty significant NHL resume, kind of like Tony had?
Yes, yeah. One thing that Tony certainly provided was great experience in the NHL as a player and as a coach. Can give you lots of perspective as you maneuver through the NHL. So there's no question that experience will be a big factor. I've got a list of names, but still gathering names, and really didn't want to attack it until after our season was over. But now that it is, we'll certainly dive into that.
You talk about the guys that are going to take the mantle from Z and Pav. I think being here as much as we were, getting Larkin questions was pretty common on a day-to-day basis. Do you believe, seeing what he did this year, he eventually can be that guy? Or I guess, how soon do you think he can be?
Well, the soon is the hard part. Again, you're talking, this is incredibly hard to do. There's a lot of good players in the league. I watched last night's game. Barkov is a really good young player, and he struggled to have an impact in last night's game. That's how hard it is to be elite, and he's going to be elite and has been elite, but that's how hard it is. What I think about Dylan Larkin is he's got a real special makeup as a person. He doesn't see a ceiling in himself. He sees no ceiling, and he's got an inner drive to match that. And those are two special qualities. How good can he be? Time will tell.
Jeff, just getting back to the assistant coaching situation, would you be looking to bring somebody in who would assume Tony Granato's responsibilities, or would you consider shuffling responsibilities and maybe bringing in somebody to work on the power play?
We'll look at everything. Again, I think part of what, to the first question, how I can be better is partly how we all can be better as a staff. And so we'll look at everything in totality, and how can we make ourselves more productive next year. And none of us like sitting here today. So our goal is to try to get better. And if that's done through our staff, then we'll certainly address that. Thank you.